Good evening, Bear Nation. Um, I don't typically do live streams this late in the evening, especially as the sun is going down on Shabbat. But I've been sitting here on my porch talking to the Father, and He told me I'm supposed to talk to y'all. And I asked Him again, am I supposed to go live right now? And before I could finish that prayer, the answer was yes. And I said, I don't know what I'm going to say. And He said, don't worry about that, I'll handle that. So, with that as a caveat, with no notes and no real direction other than the confession that I feel an overwhelming conviction to tell you to get ready, I'm here to tell you to get ready. I don't know what's coming, but whatever it is, since earlier this evening has just been pressing on me. Almost a heaviness, a weight. And it's really humbling. I feel about yay big when the Father does this to me, but it's not my job to argue with Him. It's my job to listen, even if I feel as though it has the potential to make me look like a fool. It's okay, because I'm not here for your approval, I'm here for His. I can spout off 1,000 different indicators off the top of my head. And if you've been listening to the brief, you know them too. If you've been paying attention to other good information outlets like Southern Prepper One, or Forward Observer, or Out Front with Mike Shelby, Gray Zone Warlord, or Pastor Joe Fox at Viking Preparedness, or myriad other outlets, you know, you have an idea of what's coming. I guess it's just my job now to cry in the wilderness, make way, get busy. My fear is that too many people are not taking this seriously enough, and they're going to get caught with their pants down. And because of that, they're going to be forced to make choices that are less than ideal. They will trade the convenience that they experience right now, or the comfort that they have right now, for inevitable immorality when things get bad, and the inability to maneuver, to make moves. And I hate that. I hate being painted into a corner. Frankly, I hate being told what to do, especially by people that I don't respect. I'm a pretty bad number two in an organization. I'm a much better number one. But I can be a number two, a number three, a number 17 if I'm working with people that I respect. But I'm sorry, my beautiful wife walked out here and distracted me because she's just
Your volume sucks.
stunning.
You're too loud.
Thank you. I don't want you to be put in a position where you have to compromise on your faith or your morality because you didn't make the moves that you need to make now. That you lack the discipline now to do what you need to do, that therefore you have to compromise later on. That's my, to the extent that I'm fearful of anything, that's my fear for you. And I really don't know how to implore you more strongly for you to make the moves that you need to make. And I know many of you are. Many of you, maybe 10% of you, are out there getting after it, doing the things, becoming independent of the broken, fragile system. And that's what keeps me on this channel. It's the 10% of y'all that are actually doing the things. I can see through the analytics and the metrics here on YouTube, which is owned by Google, has very good back-end data. I can see how old you are, where you are, what your gender is, which of the 87 genders you are. Yeah, I can get a lot of data on you. And I feel like, just in my gut, based upon that data, intuitively, 90+% of y'all are just kind of into preparedness. You're just kind of playing. And with what's coming, I don't think that's going to cut it. I think global scarcity is about to become super real. And it's tough being intuitive, which I am, because intuition is your brain knowing something that your mouth can't articulate. I see a lot of data every day. I onboard a lot of information every day, and I can't quite put it into words, but I know. I oftentimes know something's going to work, or I know it's not going to work, or I know something is right or something is wrong, without being able to articulate why that is. Because I lack the ability to line up all the data points in a cohesive manner to then be able to explain it to y'all. I very much so feel that way right now. I think things are going to get significantly worse before they get better, economically speaking. And the economy drives this country and the world. And I don't want you to be desperate. And I think the level of buy-in you need now to not be desperate then is way higher than a lot of people think it is. And this is not a prepper flex, I am way more prepared than the vast majority of people. It is one of my jobs to be prepared. I have more stuff and more skills and more infrastructure and more depth and resilience than the vast majority of people, let alone the vast majority of preppers. And I don't think I'm ready enough for what's coming. I live on a homestead and I produce my own food in a low population density area and own businesses that produce independent revenue. And I do life with people that I love and provide my own security and my own intelligence while networking with people that also provide security and intelligence and services. And I don't think I'm as squared away as I could be. I don't think I'm as squared away as I'm going to need to be when this runaway train called the United States truly comes off the tracks. And if I'm not as squared away as I need to be, what does that say about the 90% of y'all that have only dipped one toe into the shallow end of the pool and haven't jumped in with both feet? I know for many people it's an issue of resources. Don't have the money, don't have the time. Well, I've been poor at many points in my life. I'm not rich now. But life is what you make it. The decisions you make now and how you prioritize the resources you have, the number one of which is time, will affect your ability to maneuver in the days, weeks, months, years ahead. There's some things that puzzle me. I don't know where all the people have gone. I do a lot of traveling as well. I typically run into a lot of people. I don't see a lot of people anymore. They're not at work. They're not on the roads. I don't know where they are. Are they holed up in their houses, living off the government? And if so, how long is that going to last? I don't think too much longer. It can't. But an economy is in large part its people. The people that show up to work every day and make stuff happen, where did all the people go? I don't think they all perished from Charlie Victor 19er. I also don't think they're all in internment camps run by FEMA. I don't know where they are. It puzzles me. You know, I wondered what's going to happen this coming school year. We're not that far off from fall public school enrollment. And we know from firsthand accounts of people within the penal system, you know, prisons, penitentiaries, they're not getting all the food and supplies that they have ordered for the prison. Those same vendors supply public schools. What happens when the school can't get the food for the school lunch? And in many areas, a large portion, if not all of the children, get air quote free lunch because the federal government pays for it because of median household income. So those kids are dependent upon that meal. That's their lunch. That's their food, right? If there's no food to feed the kids, there's no teachers to come to work, there's no diesel to run the school buses, then what happens? And that's just one facet of our modern, polite, fragile society. It's just one facet. Law enforcement can't find enough qualified individuals. The qualified individuals that are there are leaving, early retirement, or simply walking away because of persecution and prosecution and the loss of qualified immunity and the loss of the faith in their communities to back them up. So you have degradation of law enforcement. I listen to the radio frequencies in our county when I'm out and about in my truck. And I heard a sheriff's deputy recently call in that there was somebody in a town around here, a woman complaining of a headache and feeling lightheaded, and the deputy called in for an ambulance. And the dispatcher responded to the effect of, they're going to need to find a ride to the hospital. We can't send an ambulance for that. Now, these are things that we've talked about for years, but they're here. This is why I tell you all to adjust your OODA loop all the time. Pay attention. OODA loop being observe, orient, decide, act. Don't simply observe that it's happening. You have to orient on the problem, then decide what you're going to do about it, and then act on those courses of action that you decided on. You are your security. You are your grocery store. You are your network and your communications and your intelligence. You're it. No one's coming to save you. And no one's coming to save me either. And whether you're of the opinion that the great nation that is the United States of America will rise like a phoenix from the ashes, or that it's all going away, either way, you have to endure through that. It doesn't matter if America is going to rise from the ashes if you don't get through to that moment in time when it does. If that's your optimistic hope that we restore the Republic. And in a certain sense, good on you if you think that's possible. I don't. But it could happen. But how are you going to get from now until then? When the dollar is worthless, there's no food, there's no fuel, and electricity is spotty at best and exorbitantly priced, and therefore the water department can't process and pump water, and there's no transportation because nobody's working, and there's no fuel, which we touched on, which greatly exacerbates logistical issues, which means that there's no repair parts or fuel for EMS, fire, and law enforcement, which means now your public safety officers and peace officers couldn't do their jobs if they wanted to, all of which points back to resilience for you. Now, I really want to be wrong about all this, just to be perfectly clear. I really want to be wrong. I have children, and I want my children to have at a minimum the same quality of life that I have. And it's part of why I get so pissed off at the state of the world. Because that ability, that opportunity seems to have been squandered. Both by grassroots Americans that took it for granted and by politicians that fleeced us. But it is what it is. We're here now, right? I want my kids to have, at a minimum, as much opportunity as I had. How's that going to happen? Unless I make it. And honestly, I don't know the best way or even the right way to make that opportunity, other than to keep doing what we're doing. I don't know another way that works. I know a lot of ways that don't work, but I don't know another way that works. And maybe in a sense that's the way it was supposed to be from jump with these United States of America. To teach your own kids and to read the Bible with your own kids and to have your kids work with you and to inherit the land that you've bled on and cried on and sweated all over. To visit you underneath the oak tree where your headstone's at when you pass and shuffle off this mortal coil. Maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. Maybe they're not supposed to whore off the shiny things, whore after the shiny things of Babylon. Maybe that's a vestige of my upbringing that I need to do away with. The short answer is I don't know. But I do know many of the options that would exist for them, even a year ago in our society, is going away. Options that would exist for me, that would exist for you, they're going away. They will continue to go away. And on the one hand, I'm not afraid of that, but on the other hand, I'm deeply concerned about it because it's real. It's, as my brother Bob says, it's super real. And we all could do a much better job of orienting on that fact. It's here. So I don't know why I'm on here tonight talking to y'all, other than the Father said do it. And so here we are. And I'll leave you with this. We are commanded over and over and over again in the Word and by the Word made flesh to fear nothing, not a damn thing, but Yahweh our Elohim, the Lord our God. And that biblical definition of fear truly means, in the Hebrew, deep respect. We are to deeply respect Abba Father, Dad. The rest of this, it's really just make-believe. And when Messiah instructs us how to pray, it is not, give me this day my 401k. Give me this day my 7 years food storage, or my belt-fed M240 Bravo. It's give us this day our daily bread. And I think that as we continue down this road, the sifting of the Father's people will continue. The gray area, the comfortable place of pseudo relationship with the Creator is going to go away. And many weak in faith will lose what faith they had because they equated blessing to materialism. And many of those who are strong in their faith and built that faith upon the solid rock will understand that provision and protection and blessing has nothing to do with your net profit or your annual salary or the number of vacation days you have. That abundance is relationship with Him and being surrounded by good people, not fast cars and private jets. Those people will strengthen their relationship with the Father. But that in the middle part is going away. Messiah instructs us in Matthew 24. There will be wars and rumors of wars. And nation will rise against nation. And that word there is, in the Greek, is ethnos. That's like people group versus people group. These are race wars. And kingdom against kingdom. And those kingdoms are like nation states. And there will be famine and plague and disease. Famine, scarcity of food. And earthquakes in diverse places. Places where there's not usually earthquakes. And those of the false belief, will deliver you up to the congregation and kill you, and think that they are doing Elohim a favor. And these are the beginnings of the birth pangs. Many shall come in my name. See that you are not deceived. That's the beginning of the birth pangs. And I don't know if we are in the end of a biblical timeline, or if we've just been so spoiled by the prosperity of America that a little slump in the economy feels like biblical end times. I don't know. I know when I see the two witnesses spitting fire from their mouths for 1,260 days in Jerusalem, we're there. And we're not there yet. But it doesn't mean we couldn't be there that quick. But that big picture stuff, that macro stuff, on that level, I'm not in charge of that. There's nothing I can do. Even Yeshua, Messiah, he doesn't know the day or the hour of his return. Only the Father does. And so what does that leave to us? Deuteronomy 29:29, the secret matters belong to Elohim. But for us, we have what we need to do all the words of these commands. So I can't articulate with absolute clarity where we're headed next and why. But I can tell you that every single facet of our modern existence is under threat. Your freedom is, your governance is, fuel, energy, food, education, communication, intelligence, security, medical services, logistics, construction equipment, farming equipment, agricultural. Pick a sector. It's all in shambles. And I don't see it getting better. And again, I want it to get better. And I hope that it does. I just don't see it getting better. But it begs the question, what are you gonna do about it? Because I can't do it for you. And I can't yell at you through the phone every day and make you do it. I'm not as prepared as I want to be. What does that say about y'all? File this under the ramblings of a madman. May Yah bless you. I'm going to bed. I got a ruck first thing tomorrow morning. Do the things, Bear Nation. Take it seriously. Shalom.